everybody. And Katie Stice is actually the CEO of the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce, and she received her Institute for Organizational Management in 2010. She's also an experienced executive with a demonstrated history of success working in the Chamber of Commerce industry and business community. She's skilled in communication, marketing, business planning, sales, hospitality, tourism, and administration, and earned her U.S. Chamber's five-star accreditation with her team 2 times over. She was named Person of the Year in 2022 by the readers of the Desert Sun, was included in the top 40 under 40 for Palm Springs Life magazine, and named Most Interesting and Influential Woman by Coachella Valley Weekly. She serves as co-chair of the board of the Children's Discovery Museum of the Desert, is treasurer of Leadership Coachella Valley, and advisor for the Emergency Planning Commission for the City of Rancho Mirage, and also on the Western Association of Chamber Executives Committee 2023 and 2024. And Katie, you are a member of the Rancho Mirage Rotary Club, right?
I am a Rancho Mirage Rotarian. I'm not a great Rotarian yet. So after the Children's Discovery Museum reopens, I plan on really diving into our Rotary group. I just need to get that museum open first. And then, yes, I love what Rotary does.
Fantastic. And lastly, she lives in Indio, California with her husband, John, and their 2 rescue dogs, Grissom and Ranger, who I'm sure you'll be hearing from this evening. All right.
You will be. Yes, as a matter of fact, Ranger, the one you're going to hear barking, he during the pandemic, he was dropped in our neighborhood. And you can kind of tell when a dog is dropped in your neighborhood because they'll typically stay in the same area and they won't leave. And so my husband, if he could rescue every animal, he would. And we took him in and we've had him ever since. So he's just a little protective of, his new home the past few years. And so he is a little bit of a barker. So please forgive him. We train every single day, but he still barks. So
we're very excited to have you tonight to talk to us about Facebook Live because you're great at it. I was telling Dan ahead of time that you do that with the chamber throughout the week, and I tune in and watch them. So some of us, like Dan and myself, I'm very good at doing it, but I don't do the live part. I will pre-record and then upload. That's just better for me because if I make a mistake, I always go back and fix it. But
yep.
Really good at doing the live version. So I applaud you for that.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And just some background for everybody, I really appreciate that. And it is something that we have made a part of our program of work at the Chamber of Commerce. And really during the pandemic is when I found like this magic sauce for it. And so I feel like that's part of why Kevin invited me here today was, during the pandemic, obviously the business community was just struggling, nonprofit community, everyone was. I mean, there wasn't one person who wasn't having a hard time or a difficult time. And so what we decided to do at Rancho Mirage Chamber is just hop on and help connect the community through social media. We couldn't physically get together, so that was the next best thing that we could do. And I found it on my heart just to make sure we were also sharing what amazing local businesses were doing, nonprofits, government agencies, elected officials. So it quickly became our way of sharing in the community. And I think that that's where, again, where we found our voice, this magic sauce of how live videos can really connect people. And one of the things we'll talk about here, and I'll pull up my presentation in just a second, it is a little bit scary and it can be intimidating. And honestly, during the whole pandemic, I was kind of scared, like there's this cancel culture. What if I say the wrong thing? Because the pandemic can be so, such a volatile subject. I don't want to talk too much about masks or getting shots. And what about opening? We want our businesses open, but we don't want a healthy community. But if you can just show up, really respectful and reasonable with a great voice, sharing what you can, then I think people really respect that and it resonates with them. And so I would kind of close my eyes and say, open mind, open heart before I would go live and say, it's going to be okay. And try to listen to what the governor would say, every week or whenever he would speak and try to reiterate that to my business community. So that's pretty much why Kevin invited me here today, because I started that and we did a live video every day for like a year and a half. So I have a lot of experience for you. So let me pull up my screen share. It might take me a second because as you heard him talk about all my accolades, he did not mention Zoom. on purpose because it's not my strongest suit. But here we go. This should share. And if I do slideshow from the beginning, can you all see that?
Yes.
Can you see? Oh, you can. Okay. And you can hear me as well?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to dive right in. Katie Stice, IOM, that stands for Institute for Organizational Management. It's kind of like a chamber college. We're going to cover Facebook Live and more social media strategy because today I think it's a great opportunity for lots of you just to maybe think outside of the box. Try some new things. One of them is going to be called StreamYard that we'll talk about later as well. So we're going to talk about Facebook Live, engaging a community, exposure, empowerment, building relationships, and tips for all social media accounts. And if you know me at all, the power of positivity is something that's really important to me. I kind of see the world through rose-colored glasses sometimes. And I think that does shine through. I'm just a naturally positive person, but I think that people looked for that during the pandemic, as we talked about a little while ago. And I think folks look for that actually every day. Just a little bit about me. This is me and my husband, John. He's a total rock star. So I added Rockstar Hubby on there. I've leveraged social media as my superpower, and it's built my business, my profile in the community. And it's probably why I ended up making Person of the Year, which is a really weird award to win. And so I think a big part of it was just being out there in the community so much. So I was really grateful for it, but it was kind of uncomfortable at the same time because I'm just doing my job. Showing up for people is an art and anyone can do it. So let's get started on how you can. And I will start it by saying this is one of the commercials that I've done for Taste of Summer Rancho Mirage. I understand I've had a lot of experience in front of screens and TVs. I've been doing like media interviews for probably 20 years. So it is something that I've just practiced over time. But anyone can literally use their device, their phone, their computer, and get on and connect with people with like-minded ideas and thoughts and situations. So getting started, we would cover some gear. You don't necessarily need a bunch of fancy equipment. A lot of folks might say differently, but I say you can keep it simple. A small ring light is really nice because it'll have a little phone holder on it. You can get a microphone to elevate your production value if you want. I did that for a while and then I just went back to my regular phone. Check for background noise if you've got a dog, other surroundings, and then just make sure also to elevate your look, be polished. And really on here, I should have also said, just make sure to smile. I know that sometimes doing like a live on Facebook, again, can be super intimidating. And sometimes when we get a little nervous or intimidated, we have this like straight face. But the most important thing is to think about who you're talking to. Don't think about talking to the camera. Think about the people behind the camera. And so show them a smile like you would in person. And also getting started, decide where you want to post. If you want to post on a business page or your personal profile, this is actually kind of a big deal. I don't post all of my live videos on the business page. My personal profiles on social media, I'm Chamber Katie. My lifestyle is Facebook friendly, I guess you would say. And so I don't mind using those things on my personal pages. So I do a lot of live videos there. I feel like those are my friends. And then typically I'll do a separate video or something a little bit different on my business page for the Chamber of Commerce. Maybe those will be a little bit more professional. I like to prep content and just make notes. So I'm not trying to read from a script, but I'm also not showing up empty handed. I'm coming with an idea of what I want to share, how I want to share it, maybe making some bullet points. And it is perfectly acceptable to look down, to look over at something as you're talking to people, because those are things you would do in real life as well. Decide if you want to take questions or not right at the start. This usually would take much longer live if you're going to get into a big subject matter and take questions from people. I mean, you could be talking about like a live video that could be like an hour or something if you do that. What I tell people to do is feel free to leave questions in the comments. And then if it's me or someone I'm interviewing, we can always go back to those comments later and answer questions. But I do think you want to acknowledge at least the people that are popping on. So if I see that Kevin's watching, like if you've done a live before, you'll see his little head will pop up. Or if he says something, that will come up. And so I can always at least acknowledge him and say, "Hi, Kevin. Thanks for watching today. How are you?" And that is something that I do. I ask people if you can see me or hear me, say hello, leave a comment or like something like that. And that already starts the engagement. It might sound kind of cheesy, but it's really not. It's totally okay. And then I do them on many platforms, but I think you can hop on to, oh gosh, there are Hootsuite. There are platforms I think that you can hop onto that would take you live on many different platforms. I just don't do that. That's just personal preference. I get on Instagram and say, "Hello, Instagram." I get on LinkedIn and say, "Hello, LinkedIn." And I do them all just a little bit different, but I personalize it to each platform. That's just what I personally do. So if I'm going to do a live video, I might end up doing like 4 in a day, but they don't take very long for me, so I don't mind. And then after you get all of that prep done, you have a basic script, you're all set, and your hair's brushed, and you know what you're going to say, and you've checked your background. Then you'll go ahead and you'll click live video in the create post section. You can enjoy real-time interaction with people, use visuals when you can. That's the best. Hopefully you're going somewhere that is pretty exciting. There's lots of stuff around you. I usually go live from my office. It's really not that exciting. So I would encourage you, if you're able to, man, go somewhere really special. That's always really fun. And then always try to end with a call to action. So clearly I use Facebook Live for my work, at the Chamber of Commerce and getting information from the community out into the greater community. And so I'm constantly just plugging what's happening, and it's a lot of business stuff. If you find that you want to use Facebook for that purpose, then just make sure you're ending with that call to action, whatever it might be. Are you looking for donors? Are you looking for people to sign up? Tell people that you'll leave more information down in the comments or links as well, so that there's a real purpose to what you're sharing or a way for people to get involved or share more, etc. Be generous, make it about others. So it's funny that, I got all these accolades during the pandemic for really lifting up the business community. And so once you kind of take yourself out of it as well, and that, I said earlier, I got a little bit worried about the cancel culture. Oh my gosh, what am I going to say? I just kind of didn't make it about me. I made it about the community. And you can't really fault someone for doing that. And so again, just stepping in and highlighting other people, lifting them up. We'll talk about StreamYard in a minute and these live interviews that I did. And it was really about them sharing who they are, what they do, how they're impacting the community. And again, that call to action, how people can support them. It might have been Takeout Tuesday, and here's how you can support this local restaurant, whatever the case may be. And then something else I really encourage everyone to do is you all have your own platform. I know at Chamber of Commerce, we've probably got a pretty large platform and we're super proud of it. We work hard. But I bet in your industries, whatever you do in the community, you have your own platform of followers and friends. And so what I always say is, how can you be generous and utilize your platform for other people? That always just ends up lifting you up in the end, but it's a special thing to do with your own platform. And so I encourage that as well. And I call it the magic sauce for the Chamber of Commerce. And this is just one of the ways that we do that too, not just Facebook Lives, but taking pictures of our members, making sure we're posting them on social media, tagging their businesses. It's such a pleasure for everyone that we get to work with, volunteers, ambassadors, board members, new members, businesses coming in. And I do have a business update for you as well, because that's always fun. It's always our pleasure to utilize our platform to talk about other people. So again, if you are in business and you're looking to do this for your business or for your nonprofit, by finding ways on your own platforms to talk about other people, you'll notice that your exposure will just double and triple very, very quickly. And then consider your frequency. Some of you are probably thinking daily, holy Toledo, that looks crazy. But I will tell you that there are some influencers out there, and I feel like that's such a weird word, but that do a video a day. And they say in order to really launch our videos, we did 100 days of 100 videos, and that's how they really started their following. And so I have one of our staff members, our Annie Blaylock, our director of business development. She started to try to do that, and it is a lot of work. I prefer more weekly, monthly, or as inspired. So as our newsletters come out, we might hop on and cover the newsletter with people, then leave the link in the bottom. Maybe weekly, I might come on and just give a Chamber of Commerce thought of the day. Hey, attend ribbon cuttings. That's a way to meet a great business owner that's looking to meet you, whatever it might be. Little tidbits, but I think I always try to make them really valuable for the listener as well. And mistakes are going to happen. Dogs are going to bark, and it's okay. So just a couple of things, minor glitches. It's okay to acknowledge them and say, oh, looks like, the internet's not doing so great right now. Be lighthearted and have a great time anyways. Major glitches, apologize and go ahead and just sign off. Wrong information, correct it as soon as possible. If you have some flubs, it's okay to laugh it off. You're human, make a joke about it. And any unforeseen issues, just acknowledge and move on. You're live and these things are acceptable. Like I was saying earlier, when you hear dogs bark, or if you're on a live and you see like someone's little child walking through, all of those things are just actually really endearing at the end of the day. And just stay positive. I don't think anyone expects perfection, and that's okay. And what are the top 5 don'ts? Don't wing it without a plan. Don't ignore your audience. Don't neglect your visual appeal. So just try to make sure the lighting looks pretty good, and that you've got a decent background behind you. Technical blunders, oversharing inappropriate content. None of you would do that. And then talking to the camera and not your audience, which we talked about just a little bit ago. Some ideas for you. So whether you're in business, have a nonprofit, depending on what you want to do with your live videos, you can always just put your own spin on things. I mean, I would find something that you're naturally already really passionate about, or something that really excites you and your heart, and make that part of what you always share, or where you always go, or what you show. So that could be current events, local hotspots, valley favorites. Our desert views are stunning. And so if you were doing your live videos and building your audience, and you always included an incredible sunset, I mean, you would get followers just for that. Again, the thought of the day, as I mentioned, inspiration and motivation. People love food and drinks. If you covered food each time you spoke, or you were at a different restaurant, people would love that. Health and wellness is of the utmost importance. Just a side note, at the Chamber of Commerce, we've seen more people join the Chamber in health and wellness in the past 2 years than ever before. It's pretty amazing. Shopping, clothes, professional development. So finding your niche, maybe what you're good at, even other than your work. So we might share Chamber of Commerce and business information, but we're always talking community and connecting people. And so that's become what we share. And we always are try to be very high touch in the community as well too. So that comes through in our live videos. We try to respond to people, etc. And part of what I shared here, some of these pictures are a little bit blurry, but as you're out in the community having experiences, doing these regular things like giving blood, or going to a local Palm Springs Power game, that's a perfect place to do a live video and share with the community, hey, look what we're doing. Look at where we're at. And what does it also do? As I mentioned before, it's supporting Palm Springs Power. They could use all the support and promotions that they could get. And now you've got this really fun partner that you've gone on and done a live video for or with about Palm Springs Power, or live stream, always needing blood. So taking advantage of those little moments. Your live video doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be in depth about something, it can just say, hey, we're here at live stream. I'm donating today. And maybe talking to a nurse, how many lives can I save by donating this today? How powerful is that for your friends and your followers to hear and see? Like I mentioned before, open mind, open heart, open opportunities. These may seem like general and basic, but I'm going to mention them because I still think they're very, very important. Not just when you're on live videos, but as you're interacting with everyone, whether that's social media or in person, be positive, smile. People appreciate that. Be genuine. I think sometimes if you're inauthentic, it just comes through. Speak normally. It's okay. You don't have to, again, have it perfect, whether that's live or just in person with people. Be human and think about what you would want to stop and watch on social media as well. Put your own spin on it. Again, if you want to find that thing that you want to be known for, feel free, do it. Put your own spin on things. As I just mentioned, show up for viewers. That's part of what we commit to doing to our community, and that's probably why we have so many videos that we put out there. We're committed to showing up for our community and just sharing who is doing what, who's coming into town, lifting up those small businesses, talking about these nonprofits. We're passionate about nonprofit organizations such as Rotary clubs. The services that you all provide in the community are part of why people even move here in the first place. And so being able to share that with the masses is just on our hearts. Be generous, as I mentioned, lift up other people. Don't make it about you at all. And it's remarkable how it becomes about you by helping to lead others. Consider different contests. I mean, we gave away some Firebirds tickets. I think I'm wearing my Firebird shirt here the other day. And holy Toledo, that just went crazy. That just increased our algorithm like you wouldn't believe, because people are wild about our Firebirds and have fun. It's going to show if you don't have fun. Also consider other avenues. And this is a lot. And if you're not on social media, this might be overwhelming. And I am not trying to overwhelm anyone, but you can start with maybe one or two other avenues to help share, even about Rotary. If this Rotary group should have a LinkedIn page, if you don't already, it's a great way to just brag. What I've noticed working with so many businesses and nonprofits and great professionals is they don't always share about the amazing things that they do in the community. And so I keep pushing them, share, tell people what you're doing. And they think it's bragging. And I tell them, yeah, brag, you work hard. It's okay to share that. I use LinkedIn on a regular basis. I probably pop into all of these every single day. LinkedIn is very powerful for business to business. Canva is a wonderful program. It makes it finally easy for any person to be able to create graphics, which for the longest time just felt impossible unless you had some really expensive program. There are free versions of Canva. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun to play with. Instagram, of course, is a wonderful tool. TikTok, I know it's not for everybody. I just put some videos on there. I use Facebook the most, but TikTok, what we want to do with that, at least at the Chamber of Commerce, as we're out visiting, Dave and Buster's, new restaurants and things, we want to have an on the scene video series where we're just showing people these different spots that visitors can come to or residents can come to. Artificial intelligence is pretty important. It's a little hard to ignore, but there are some cautions. You just want to be really careful when you're using it. Listen, if you copy and paste something from AI, just try to make it your own at some point. I think people expect that you're going to copy and paste things from AI. So it's not like it's against the law or rules or anything. But there are, you just want to be careful. You want to make it sound like you, right? People are going to recognize if you're suddenly writing and sounding in a completely different voice. I use Bard, B-A-R-D. It's on there. That's Google's version of AI. And I don't know why. I guess I just trusted Google more. And so I use Bard on a regular basis for a lot of things. And I'll give you just one example since we're talking social media. You can type into Bard your mission, vision, and value statement for your company or your nonprofit and ask for 20 social media posts based on those mission, vision, and values. And it will create all of that content for you. And then all you need to do is post it and schedule it or add photos to it. So, I mean, talk about a time saver. You can ask it to create a job description for you. You can ask it what problems do chambers of commerce face in today's world, and it will tell you all of the issues or things that people think or say about chambers of commerce today. And that's valuable information for us to know so that we can pivot and make changes where we need to. That's one of the benefits of my team. We're small and nimble and able to make change when necessary. And the last thing down below, mine is covered on my screen, but I hope you can see it, and that's StreamYard. And I know we're going to talk about that. So here's my YouTube page for the Chamber of Commerce. We do a ton of videos. And even if you don't see a ton of views on here, keep in mind, because I use StreamYard, it's a very easy platform. They have a free version. This goes onto I think 8 different social media feeds at one time. So this is just one of them. But when we do live videos, Live with Your Chamber of Commerce is a little show we have. I just made the graphic on Canva. It turns into a little video. I'm able to, if you see some of on the screen, there's more than one person speaking. I can invite up to 10 people onto this show. And it's a very easy tool that almost anyone can use. This is another view when I was interviewing SH Business Stylist on, again, that StreamYard platform. Just another really fun and easy way to get your name out there. And this does go on to Facebook Live as well. It goes on to different groups on Facebook. I believe you can connect it to your Instagram. It goes on YouTube Live as well. So if you're looking to really challenge yourself, your business, get your profile raised in the community for whatever purpose, I highly recommend StreamYard. Very user friendly. And you can see my little logos up top. We had some sponsors that came on. And if you have a platform, people want to sponsor it. You can tell ever since the pandemic too, people were looking for new ways to avenues to put their money, to get their business name out there in new ways. And this was one that we were really, really grateful for. Some of the benefits of StreamYard: easy to use and set up, high transmission quality, high stability, access to all different countries around the world, lots of professional features that permit you to create premium online video material, great means to get in touch with your audience, develop a community around your brand, ability to live stream onto multiple platforms at once. So that last line, that's why I chose to use StreamYard during the pandemic. So that's one of my versions of Facebook Live, aside from my live videos where I'm just talking to the community saying, hey, here's a chamber update. Here's what we're doing. Here's how you can get involved. StreamYard is that opportunity that goes on to a ton of different platforms, but typically I'm doing an interview with one of my members. So you could translate that possibly to your business, your nonprofit, or who you're working with in the community. Any topics? Some takeaways: technology, it's okay to keep it simple. Cancel culture, don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. Just be you. Don't say anything crazy and you'll be all right. Content, find your magic sauce. Talk to your community. Those people will find you. They all talk and share. Watch engagement grow over time. So don't get discouraged if you're not doing Facebook Lives yet and your first few, you feel a little disappointed that maybe no one saw. Going back to those influencers that I know did 100 in 100 days, and that is how they really started to gain their following and experience over time. Reach new audiences through this avenue, boost authority and credibility, and make it fun and make it interactive as well. Oops. And I put this on here because if this is something that is important to you, the whole marketing piece, I'm guessing it is. That's why I'm here, and that's why you all are here. What we realized very quickly working with our small businesses is that trying to navigate the marketing world is really challenging. Like, where do you put your money? Promotional products, billboards, TV, radio, social media boosting. It's a lot. And so when we put ourselves in the shoes of small businesses, we said, gosh, we should probably do a marketing summit by the members for the members. All of these folks on your screen are members of the Chamber of Commerce. And they all came to give 20, 30-minute presentations to the membership about that. Usually Andrew McCauley did Google and AI. He is phenomenal, and really talked about some of the cautions and how you can use it and what to just look out for. Local IQ talked about strategy. We talked about TV and radio, how to utilize them, who really watches. Those folks are absolutely wonderful, and they work with every business and nonprofit. Julie Bueller talked about branding and storytelling. And then we have a local influencer who does like gaming on the side, and he has a huge following, but he just goes through the motions. So if this is something that's of interest to you, let us know. We do have one plan. This was from last year. Because it's a sellout every year. We've had it for 2 years now. We will have it again later this year. It's typically in the fall time. And it's in the fall because we are hoping to help prepare people for season upcoming. So this is your preparedness time. Just a few keys: be persistent, be positive, keep your name out there, lift up other people. This is an interview that I did with EOS Worldwide, Andrea Davis, who's wonderful. My contact information is on the screen. And then I just wanted to give you also a quick business update about what's happening in the community. And then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have as well. So, just to show you, and I'm sure most all of you know how chambers of commerce work, but very quickly, the members, it's an upside down triangle. The members are up top. They elect this board of directors. The board hires me as the CEO, and then I hire the staff at the Chamber of Commerce. And we're very blessed with a very strong board. These people, what we look for in board members are people who have just a really strong business acumen to help us be the strongest business that we can be. We want to be a strong organization, especially if we're the head of the business community. And so these are very high level executives and business owners that really bring that to the table. And then you'll see this graph over here. It's just my favorite because it's exciting to watch a business grow, a membership organization also grow. And this is not uncommon, to be honest. So you'll see our deep COVID V kind of up towards the top. And this is what happened. So this happened also. I worked at Palm Desert Chamber after the Great Recession. We saw something very, very similar. And it's because after a crisis, people really need their chambers. They need to dive into the community. They need to connect. It's usually now the CEOs that are getting out of their offices, being a part of the community, being a part of a bigger conversation. And so we're really proud to have watched our Chamber of Commerce basically double since when I started. We had about 300 members, now to 600. Our reach in the community is about 15,000 or so. And then this is our team here. There's one person we just hired, Kelly, member relations and marketing coordinator, who we don't have her headshot yet, but we're 5.5 strong now. We have Guadalupe, director of events and sponsorships, Dawn, director of operations and communications, myself as president and CEO, and Annie, who's our director of business development. And so to watch again, an organization grow like we have is just remarkable. It was just me and one other person when I started, a half a person. We also have James Brownyard. He is our part-time person. He works remotely, and he is our director of government affairs. And altogether, we have about 55 years of local Chamber of Commerce experience. So we're super stoked about that because we've got a great team who knows what they're doing. And I'm going to stop share, but I'm going to give you that business update as I promised. Let's see. I'll hit escape. Now you just see me, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, good, good, good. So your business update is Amazon Fresh. We have a lot of questions about that because they built it, they put everything in, and then they kind of disappeared. And I think the fear was, if you remember, um, what is that? Fresh and Easy. If you remember, a bunch of Fresh and Easies were built and then they never opened. And I think that was the fear with Amazon Fresh. However, every contact we've had with them, they've said we are committed to the project and they should be opening, last we heard, early this year. I don't know if early means the first half of the year or tomorrow, but all the technology is already in that store. So that means a Stater Brothers or something else couldn't just pop in and be there. It's already set up. So the city has also heard the same, that they're committed to the project. REI is coming to the river, which we're so excited about. I've had a gift certificate for REI for 2 years and I've just haven't been to one. So I'm super excited to be able to use that here. Dave and Buster's came in recently to the river as well. REI is going into the river, if I didn't say that. And if you haven't been, it's really fun. It's an absolute blast. It's a little bit loud, so be ready for that. But I think the river is finally having a renaissance, which we've been waiting for. The river has struggled for a long, long time. And it's hard because it's not every city or town where your downtown is kind of owned by one person, but that's the case with Rancho Mirage. I guess that would be our downtown. And the owners, we try to stay in touch with them regularly. They don't live here. And so it's very hard to have them stay connected and invested here. So that's where I come in and try to make sure that I'm their champion regularly and I'm keeping them invested and updated on what's happening, because I want them to care about the jobs that are here, the opportunities, and the growth. Cotino, a story living by Disney. So the first thing to say about Cotino is a theme park is not coming to Rancho Mirage. I can assure you of that. Cotino is a large housing area. It will end up having about 1,900 homes. It should have condos as well. It will have a shopping promenade and it will have a blue lagoon. And I will tell you about the Blue Lagoon because it has a lot of controversy around it. It is not being done irresponsibly. So, two things. One, if they would have put the 2 golf courses in that place of the lagoon, it would be using more water than this lagoon. And two, the technology that they have is absolutely incredible. So we are thrilled about Cotino coming in, and every single layer of the process they're going through just like everyone else would. So I go to council meetings all the time and they're going through all of the approval processes, and I believe only about 530 homes so far have been approved. These are all going to come in layers and very small batches. I think any housing unit that would come in would never really make national news or international news as this has. It's just the Disney brand that took it to that level. They've been lovely partners. The general manager is on our board of directors. We are trying to rally for them and help them, as we do with all businesses. So I don't know if you remember when In-N-Out came to Rancho Mirage. Does anybody remember? That was a big deal. I remember going to council meetings and talking about how it's they're great corporate citizens. And, I didn't say this at a council meeting, but I thought about it like they're the Nordstrom of fast food, right? They're wonderful. They're not a chain. And, they're open late. So all of the people that work at the Ritz-Carlton and our other hotels, they have a great place to eat after. So those are advocacy pieces that we do for all of our small businesses that come in to our community, including Cotino. And what we will do is help address things like, if people have questions about infrastructure, what do hospitals do? How do roads get planned in a city when you're going to see some growth happen? So those are things that will help share with the community. Sensei Porcupine Creek is another phenomenal development that has happened over the years in Rancho Mirage. Porcupine Creek has always been there. Ellison purchased it. the Sensei brand, there's another one in Lanai, and it is basically a 6-star. I don't know if there's 10 stars. It's a 10-star wellness retreat. You'll go behind the doors. They have their own Nobu by Sensei, and it's all health and wellness related. Really, really incredible amenities right here in the center of the valley. We do believe that Beer Hunter is coming into the former Roy's location. That was a hard loss for Rancho Mirage. It was a hard loss for our valley. I loved Roy's, but it does look like the Beer Hunter will be moving in. They're staying also in La Quinta, so now they'll have their chain. They'll have 2 places. Sunnylands continues to do great. No major changes there to mention, just that they continue to have retreats there with heads of state. So if you know Sunnylands, if you've been there, the whole goal of Sunnylands is to create world peace. And so they do that by bringing heads of state together to have conversations, to have retreats and meetings, all built around driving peace. Acrisure Arena continues to do incredibly well. Hopefully, everyone has been to the arena to see a Firebirds game or a concert, but it's been such a welcome addition to the community. And again, talking about Cotino and what could happen with infrastructure, I know there was a lot of worry about the arena and what could possibly happen, and there were some people really upset about it, but they came in and I think just did such a great job at monitoring traffic and safety. People are in and out pretty quickly. And it's an incredible entertainment venue. So we're so happy that they're here. And I'm just happy about their location. I remember when they first came to the valley, they were looking at being in downtown Palm Springs. And I think this is such a better fit because, again, that traffic piece, you can just get on the freeway and head on out. Palm Springs Water Park, unfortunately, I heard, they had this huge opening and then they closed for some technical issues just after opening. So we're keeping an eye on that. We've just reached out and asked if they need any resources or support. Have not heard back yet, but we would love to see them back open. Jackalope here in Indio has reopened as well. I live in Indio. And so speaking of Indio, if you've not been to our downtown area, council, so I've lived out here about 30 years now. I'm actually a graduate of Indio High School. And I remember even back then, council was working to renovate the downtown area. And it's been a struggle. It's been hard. And now it's happening. So when I talk to council members, they're just beaming because there's a brewery going down right at the end of Miles. There's ribbon cuttings happening at the different restaurants now. People are really investing in that downtown area. So it's beautiful to see. It's very exciting. And then as far as we know, lastly, other area chambers are doing well. The business community itself, from what we see and hear, is generally doing really well. Nonprofits are. Nonprofits really suffered because they were losing a lot of donations during the pandemic. But you can see people donating again. Businesses are doing pretty well. I think the fears are continued inflation, workforce. It sounds like most people are fully staffed and where they need to be. They have some choices now when they're hiring staff. But there still are some fears. Recession is another fear. Oh my goodness. And the election just causes a lot of division, and people are more likely to just hold on to their dollars and back up a little bit and stay a little bit more quiet during this time. So we're just trying to be there for our members and make sure that they stay super informed on what's happening. So part of what we do is make sure that our members, our community knows like who our lawmakers are. We have a new congressman out here covering some of the valley. Some people don't know who Greg Wallace is. He's our new assembly member. He worked for Chad Mays. So making sure, not telling people how to vote or swaying people one way or another, but putting the lawmakers right in front of folks to answer questions for the business community so that they're really well educated and informed. And then just that one last area where we really step up for folks. I don't know if you saw recently in the papers, there were some issues about the health department, and there was a lot of restaurants, being closed down or getting in trouble. And it just wasn't adding up to me because these were places that had like 20, 30 years of restaurant experience. And so that was a time when, like, as a chamber, as an advocate for business, we would kind of call and just start to investigate, like, this doesn't sound right. It's not adding up. You always got to listen to that little voice in your gut. And so talking them through it, we found out, it was someone who was a little bit newer, who typically the health department comes in and their whole goal is to make sure that we have open, safe restaurants that are healthy for the community. And by doing so, they might say, hey, make sure these 5 things are done before I leave. And this mustn't happen again, next time I come. And before they leave, those things should all be completed. And instead, they were just getting closed. And so that's when we stepped up and said, we think that there's a miscommunication, maybe a training issue. We should be able to work together on all of these issues. And so that's something that we do regularly as well. So we stay pretty busy in the community, helping people where we can, connecting folks, and advocating in each spot that we can as well. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Kevin. Thanks for letting me to talk your ears off for about an hour. And if you have any questions, you can let me know.
This was fantastic, Katie. I appreciate it. I do have one quick question for you. On your page that you shared all the stuff that you're working with, like with LinkedIn and TikTok and all that, how much are you working with Threads?
Am I working with what?
Threads? Threads is kind of
Threads?
like Threads. It's another platform. Maybe, I guess, maybe not. It came out this last year.
Okay.
So Threads is what it's called. And
Threads. Got it.
yeah, I just wasn't sure if
You know
you're
what?
see it on there. So
Nope, I don't work with it at all. We've just hired though our new marketing coordinator, and so I'm hoping that she can help dive into more. And that's been the beauty of growing our team finally after all these years is now I can do some of the CEO stuff that I'm expected to do and ask her as the media person to start diving into areas that we're frankly not, we don't have a presence. So Threads is one of those places I don't have a presence.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Do you?
I use Threads. It was kind of like it was supposed to go up against X or the former Twitter. So
Got it.
yeah, so I enjoy it. I mean, there's a lot of people who use a lot more, but I kind of dabble in that as well, and it's been good.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Stephen, did you have a question?
A question for you. I'm Palm Springs Sun Up, and I take care of our communications with Kevin is part of. I really work on our website, of which I track on analytics for, well, who looks at us? Why are peeping? Who are they? How do they do it? What are you doing on analytics to see who by you? I just looked up 186 people in the last 90 days. Look at our website.
Nice. Awesome.
Of which 172 were from California. So I could even break it down further. But anyway, do you do any tracking? You're on these different platforms, and are you, in a sense, getting the bang for your dollar? With some
Yeah.
of
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm kind of a nerd that way. I love data and analytics. I think it just tells even a different story. So I know on my like social media and on my website, I know people are on there because I'm interacting with them through those portals. So that already feels super good. And I know, okay, we're nailing it. We're hitting all of the spots we need to. But holy cow, when you then open the analytics, you don't realize how many people you're reaching. At the end of the month, when I see that I've reached 30,000 people, then I start to think, oh, Katie, when you do a live, you just really better be a little bit more on point. Because sometimes I make it casual and I try to do that on purpose because I want to be approachable and I don't know, just I don't want to seem like an out of touch person. But sometimes when I see those numbers, it's a little scary and overwhelming because then I think that's a lot of people watching me. I really hope I don't mess up. But I go back to the basics, if you just do it for the right reasons. But yeah, I think analytics are always good. In fact, I share all those also with my staff and with our board so that they understand the power of influence and how any organization can really have so much can do so much good in their community and track it. I think the tracking is really important. So we do that with our website. We do that with our social. And we like to do it over a certain amount of time too. It's kind of nice to see over the years, how you can grow. The other fascinating one, and we have the speaker coming up. He's part of our educational series, and he'll be at the marketing summit. Andrew McCauley, he'll just talk about Google. And that is also fascinating. If you own your page, if you, kind of, you have to do something to end up owning your page. But if you own your page and you update it, you put information on there, you can almost use it like as another avenue just to get the word out. And that will also track how many people find you, how many people make calls from that page, how many missed calls you've had. So that's also pretty great. And I don't think most people take advantage of it, but there's a reason why. Google, kind of like social media, but Google in particular, they change things so fast on you that if you become like my instructor for Google, he'll teach twice this year. From one presentation in the spring to the one in the fall will be so different because that's how fast they just change things. It's remarkable.
And actually, they just recently changed up to an A4 format, whatever that means. But it means a lot of things that are so different that it's almost difficult to follow what they're doing.
Yeah, it very much.
I like the old system.
Yes, that is exactly what Andrew says. He says, this is my job and I'm having trouble following. So how are all these small businesses going to be able to do it? They can't. I mean, it feels impossible, but I think that's part of the game. I don't know.
Technology. Thank you very much.
Always changing. Sure.
Thank you.
Stacey, really quick, do you think you could give us like a rough estimate of what your analytics look like when you post like a photo or a flyer versus your live videos or any other videos you post?
Yeah. So it's interesting you ask because it feels a little bit weird. So I've just become the face of my chamber. And again, that happened through, usually you would put your chair out there, but so anytime I'm out there, that's going to get probably the most interaction and views. And so my staff reminds me of that regularly. And they're like, you haven't done a video in a long time. Get out there. People expect to see you. So it's just kind of become expected. So any type of video, I think with me on it, will always garner the most attention and comments. So we try not to abuse that. And I don't, it's not lost on me that that's a reputation we've built, and we try to really care for that. Posts are great if the post and the photo is if you can read it, if it looks exciting, and that we share a lot of member stuff. And so you never know when we're sharing member stuff, what kind of content we're going to get, but it's still our job to share it no matter what it looks like at the end of the day. But videos typically do the best. And so if everyone here is in business and looking for just additional ways to get their name out there, doing a video is the absolute best way to do it because it just feels like someone's there talking to you. And that's what people want on social media. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, one of the things we push a lot on these PR workshops is to utilize video. I think we've all had, at this point, we've probably all had some experience with what video can produce versus just a stagnant, photo. But yeah, that's just one thing. It's really useful, really effective. So we just try to promote that a lot.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like if you had like a Rotary event as an example, it's one thing to post the flyer on it, but if Kevin's on there saying, hey, I want to invite you to come be my guest. And then it's also neat because then they show up and they say, oh, hey, you're the guy from the video. Like, oh, it's nice to meet you in person. I'm just used to seeing you in this little box. There is something really powerful about it. And I think, early on in the presentation just said something like, everyone can do it. Everyone has access to it. And as long as you can just show up and be yourself, it can really make such a cool impact. Do you use video a lot for this Rotary group?
Well, as far as the district goes, when we have the opportunity, we'll use stuff. Usually when we get, special speakers from Rotary International, they come in, give us some footage. But yeah, mostly what we're here to do is to encourage the other clubs to do the videos, so that, you know, their marketing or whatever they need to do, you know, kind of explodes on their end to help with their projects and stuff. So we see it as effective. I know I've seen quite a few different numbers as far as what percentage of you know, the reactions of the audience, how they increase, you know, when you see a video. So I definitely encourage it. I try to utilize it as much as I can. But yeah, it's just something we push on these workshops a lot. So
Yeah, it's so great. And it's such a great way just to introduce like new members or new things happening. I mean, it really is such a strong way to garner people's attention. And I know some folks, you know, don't like social media. It's not their thing. But I think if you are, you know, in business, if you're out to make a difference and you're part of an organization, it's what you have to do. People go on, you know, Facebook now before even going to a website sometimes just to see what your activity is, because your website might be selling you, but your Facebook is your activity. How are you working? Who are you engaging with? And if I go on someone's page and I don't see anything, I think, oh, they must not be doing anything, which is totally probably not true, but it's the optics of it. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Any other questions for Katie?
Well, thank you guys for having me, and thank you for being Rotarians. I think that you do incredible, incredible work. And I'll be, like I said, diving into my Rancho Mirage Rotary as soon as that Children's Museum opens, which will be, I'm counting down the days, March 25th. I'll be co-chair of the board until I think June, July, when our fiscal year changes. And then I'll be diving into Rotary. So hopefully I'll see you out in the community serving folks and working together.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Katie. It was
Thank
an
you.
awesome. We really appreciate having you this evening.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. We'll look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Stay dry.
Bye.